screen?
Inshallah, just a minute. I just started.
Okay.
So let me take this one away and then I will make you. This is done. Okay. You can share the screen now.
Thank you. One last favor, can you start us with a dua as well?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم استخدمنا في خدمة القرآن والإيمان والإسلام بالسعادة والسلامة والصحة والعافية والإخلاص والصبر والسكينة. ربنا افرض علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا افرض علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you again for coming today. Inshallah, we will be reading or continuing to read the 11th word on page 133 from the words. Last time we met, we discussed thoroughly the verses together. We emphasized on the word soul and what it means, and that it may have different meanings. And we suggested that for this particular verse, it's referring to the whole human. The entire word is a reflection of these verses, and we started to talk about an analogy of how there is a king who has a lot of treasuries, and he has hidden treasuries. He has a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge. And this is the riddle that is supposed to help us figure out, the mystery of man's creation and the reality of the prescribed prayers. And today we're going to continue talking about this talisman. So we left off at that this king who has everything wants to open up an exhibition and sets out displays and wants to manifest everything he has, his wealth, his art, and his knowledge. So we'll continue reading from here. The first respect, so the first respect on why this king wants to open up this exhibition, is that he himself could behold them with his own discerning eye. The other respect, so that he could look through the view of others. So this king has all of this, art, knowledge, and skills, and he wants to show them for two reasons. The first one is that he himself could see it, but the second one is that he could look through the view of others. I honestly feel like the other reason, the second reason, is very worthy of like stopping there and really looking at it. So if you think with me, if you know of this king who has everything, and it seems like he has an abundance of everything, it doesn't seem like an issue for him to keep making and making and making. And the author here is suggesting that this king wants to open up this wealth so that the king can look through the view of others. For me, I was like, okay, well, the king probably, if I'm a king and I have all of these things, why would I want to see them through others? What's so special about others, or what's so valuable or important that I want to see it through others? Any suggestions, or anybody's interested to think along these lines with me? Okay, go ahead.
It seems to be you are asking a very reasonable question. It is. I mean, everybody asks this question. Why did God and those people who are more skeptical say, not did God, if there was a God, why he would expose himself or display his qualities in the universe, including human beings, and expect them to respond him back, depending on whether a believer or skeptical. First of all, both of them, when they ask this question, both of them are right to ask this question. And in order to really have our view about it, or in order to satisfy ourselves, we have to start from the very fact that here we are, there is a universe. That's it. Here we are, and I am there. I have to look at the case from my perspective, not from creator's perspective. Why did he do this? No, from my perspective as a human being, here I am, here we are. I don't have to understand the reasoning mind of the creator, because I'm not yet, I have not yet achieved or arrived to the conclusion that it is created and there is a creator. No, here we are. Be a free thinking man and look at it and see what is going on around me. I found myself as being a conscious being in this world. That is how I am. And I have been given the quality to question why this universe, why does this universe exist? And look at it, and of course, ultimately the question turns onto me. Why do I exist? What is the point? So I start investigating and looking at the universe and see the universe is very interesting. The things seem to be happening by themselves, but all wonderful events are happening here. And there seem to be no maker, no owner within the universe. I don't see anyone or any kind of power appearing in the universe and doing it. So I have to reason about it. Why does it exist? Why do I exist? Look at my own existence. Look at the existence of the universe. This is not our subject now. We have to fast forward. If I can explain the existence of the universe by remaining within the universe, okay, I can go and look at what he is doing and ask, see if we can do it, etc. But I personally don't have any reason for the existence of the universe, which I can really attribute it to anything of this universe. I say definitely there must be a creator. That is my conclusion. Somebody must be there, must exist, who gave existence to it, because this universe, first of all, I can see no trace that it can come into existence by itself. No one can show it to me. Now, if they could, okay, I will say this is the maker of the universe, and I will communicate with him, with it, and try to make sense of the existence. But it is, it seems to be impossible. So I come to the conclusion that the universe must have a creator. And this creator is, however, whatever the reason, from my perspective, it is an exhibition of his art. It is just exhibiting his art here, whoever it is. But this one is not within the universe and cannot be describable within the conditions of this universe. That is what my reasoning capacity, intellect can understand. This is my conclusion. Everybody can understand this. So look at the case from my perspective. I see that the creator, whoever did it, cannot be limited within the conditions of being a created being. It means dependent being. It is so interesting. If it is an independent of the universe being, so it must be something not created, not dependent. Oh, it is strange. Nothing in this universe is independent. Everything is dependent on the order of the universe or dependent on the will of Ewan, whatever, whoever it is, gave existence to the universe. Now, I see that this creator must be only an absolute being. It means self-existing, eternal, and independent in its existence. His qualities are or must be a self-sustaining qualities. That is important. So, can I get this quality, absolute quality, because self-sustaining, self-existing means absolute. So, can I get into the absolute qualities of this universe manifested in this way, in this world? I think we have to go to the first respect here. Respect. First respect says he himself could behold them with his own discerning eyes. It means absolute knowledge, absolute capacity, because I cannot get the absolute capacities. What are they? Who are they? I discover, as if I try to understand by crawling within the universe, because universe doesn't let me go out of it. That's why I said crawling, to find out the capacity of the creator. I found that it is endless. But for me, it is endless. Wherever the stage, the level I reached, I know there is something beyond. And then what are they? I say the first one, only its creator knows it is essence, perfect capacity, because the universe points to the absolute qualities and I cannot grasp absolute. I have to conclude that whoever created the universe must know the real reality of the universe, if you like. Real reality of the universe, not me. That answers the first respect from my perspective, saying that he himself could behold them with his own absolute knowledge, eyes. It means, well, this is a simple language, of course, but you are intelligent people, you understand the difference. His own discerning eyes, as if he has eyes or something. This is just descriptive way of explaining the reality. But in this class, you must be accustomed with this kind of terminologies, phrases that we use. For example, his own absolute capacity. He himself must behold the qualities manifested in the universe, the absolute qualities manifested in the universe. He must be aware of it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to create the universe. So come to the next one, the other, so that he could look through the view of others. Again, speaking from my perspective, I am also looking at it from my eyes, from my views, through my capacity. That's what I found. The reality of my existence and the reality of the universe out there. So we have to make sense of the universe and come to the conclusion. When we come to the conclusion, although I cannot grasp the essence of absolute qualities, but I know that there must be absolute. And why I name it as absolute? Because I cannot define it. I cannot get to the end. So in this way, I conclude that I have to accept and confirm that the creator of the universe is presenting himself to me. This is my intelligence can grasp it. My feelings say, yeah. For example, I am enjoying it. And I have another feeling. If I enjoy something, I have to be thankful, grateful to the one who made my life enjoyable. So I feel that I have to think, I have to respond back. That is what we are going to get into, in fact. Now, how are we going to respond back to the absolute manifestations of the absolute qualities of the Creator and communicate with him as created beings? We have to double underline this. As created dependent beings. We have no capacity to comprehend, to grasp the essence of absoluteness. But we have been given the capacity to confirm the absoluteness of the qualities of the Creator. I think this summarizes the first and the second. From my perspective, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm just going to read what's in the chat box. This is the question for the reason for creation. What is the purpose of creation? What is the purpose for the king to look at through others? I'd say relationship, relatedness. Why are we to relate to each other? Because the essence of the Creator is loving creation. Therefore, we are commanded to relate to each other as God relates to us through the attributes of God, oneness, love, beauty, awe, freedom, joy, and as such. I think if I would rephrase my question, I put it along the same lines of what is the relationship between the king and the others that the king would be interested to see or to look through the view of others. Again, it would be very hard to get to the mind of the king or to get to the essence of the king. But instead, since we are related, I would read the story or read the universe or read creation from my end, from my understanding, from my feelings, from my senses, from my thoughts, my expectations. But I think asking the question of what could possibly be the relationship between a king and others, that there would be this this desire to see the art through the view of others. It's a tricky question because it kind of leads us to trying to think from the king's perspective, but we would have to pay close attention that we're answering it from our perspective, just how Brother Ali was trying to clarify. For me, I honestly just engaged with the analogy. I didn't think of the king as the creator immediately. I just thought, okay, if a king has everything and the king wants to see everything through the eyes of other people or of others, then the king is kind of telling others, you are valuable to me, you are special to me, you are loved by me, and I want to see everything through your view of it. So I just treated it as an analogy. What could the king be telling me if he's asking me to look at his art and to sort of respond to him or reply to him with what do I think of it? As if he's waiting for me to tell him, oh, I like what you did, or I don't like what you did. That's how I kind of looked at it. I see a hand up. Go ahead, Farah.
Assalamu alaikum. I was looking forward to this week because of the exciting end to the discussion from last week, and I was particularly thinking of the first respect. And Radwa, your question perhaps is relevant to this thought. I hope others can correct me if I make a mistake in thinking about this and the method with which I'm trying to think about it. But it's just thinking out loud. If I think about why would I mean, first of all, if I pose the question, like, why would a king, or in this case, an absolute creator, sustainer, want to see for himself first? I started to put the question to myself in saying that, okay, whatever that I think or do, essentially I am the first witnesser of that act or thought. And what that tells me primarily is that I am a conscious, aware being. And so the idea of the king or the sustainer, the first witness, or the sort of the testimony, or the sustainer itself testifying to his own attributes, tells me that it must be similarly conscious as I experience myself when I witness my own thoughts and acts. And so the relationship between the king in this case in showing or seeing through his subjects is this relationship of a conscious being. And so it is a little bit strange for me to give that attach that or use this idea of consciousness to think about my source of existence or creator, because it suddenly puts it into a feeling of personal relationship, like, and giving it an individuality, giving it a personality, but also obviously making sure that, this is not a personality like, it's an absolute being. So there is a level of, incomprehensibility there, but it gives it, the fact that this, I am conscious, and that which is conscious allows me to give this connection and see myself as a subject through which, consciousness is being reflected or manifested. So that's how I was thinking about your question, and also something that I was trying to understand, and it's still trying to figure out. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your reflection. Monica, go ahead.
Thank you. So when I was listening to you guys, I was thinking that when we ask this question of why God does certain thing that he or she does, we kind of tend to project the question why, like kind of cast God in a human image, like as if God to have had some reason for gaining something from creation, like this kind of creeps on us. And I just kind of noticed it right now. So I had this thought, maybe God creates us for this, maybe the observation process or the relationship process, it's not for the sake or for the gain of God, but it's just purely for our sake. So we are created for us, not for God. Because God doesn't need anything, right? God, the absolute eternal God, is in no need of anything. But we are created. So where was I going with this? No, so I think I had this thought occurring for like we say that God is everything. God is everything. And like some people say God is one, therefore all the qualities of the essence of God are positive, of unification, of oneness, of goodness. But then sometimes people say, well, what about like the negative, like the punishment, or creating Satan to punishment, or even the ego, like the negative attributes of the soul. That isn't that created by God? Isn't our prideful, angry ego created by God as well, right? So God is the creator of everything, the good and the bad. And at the other hand, there is parallel to this is the understanding of God as one of singular essence, which is unification, oneness, goodness, beauty. So there's no place for anything ego-like there. There's no God. God is not the Lord of ego. God is the Lord of the soul. That it's the Satan who's the Lord of the ego. But so again, so unraveling another. Then I thought to myself, what about, and I'm not the first one who come up with this. It's just people for thousands of years have understood this reality as some sort of a creation, illusion. Why do we have to go through duality? Because God is the creator of everything. So from his creation, everything has to be possible, absolutely everything, all the good and the bad. But because God is not, there's no ego in God, our existence is kind of illusory. It's also like a dream. Again, we come to this, like we are here before the resurrection. We are still dead. We're still sleeping. It's so again, to connect all this all and kind of end on that note is the reason for the display and looking at the creation, for the creation for God to look at creation and also other creation looking at the creation, because in the gallery there's other people, there's other souls who are witnessing each other. It's having a life on earth in such a way that we can return to God, which is to wake up with this from the temporary delusion of this duality, like separation. And because the possibility of evil can only be real to God through less like in a dream or illusion. It's not truly real. So I would say at the end that the reason for from putting up the show, the gallery, is for us to figure out who we are. And when we do, maybe just close the gallery and have a party again. So at that point, I'm going to stop. Thank you.
Go ahead, Brother Ali.
I'm very pleased to hear our friends are speaking and expressing their views. Excellent. We have to benefit from each other in this way. I appreciate it all. I would like just to repeat again, but with a more emphasis on never, ever speculate on God. Never, ever say God is this, God is that. No. We know that from the experience of this universe, it must be created. It must be given existence by something else. And this something else must have absolute qualities, because the universe is witnessing in its own existence. And my mind, intellect, can perceive it. So I conclude that the universe must be created by an absolute being, infinite being. I cannot say anything about his essence at all. God is something, whatever you say it. We should avoid and try to learn to avoid using speculative languages by attributing to God, like it is not a criticism, but like God never does evil. How do you know? No, we have to explain it within the conditions of the universe. God doesn't need to, for example, or God also wants to see his own eyes, because we make something wonderful, we look at ourselves and, oh, it is good, really, I liked it. This is an out of need of human nature. But do we see any sign of the Creator is doing that? No. But I conclude that as a result of my observation of the universe, I conclude that the creator of the universe has just manifested his absolute qualities, and I cannot speculate on it, on his nature. Then I say, because the universe has infinite qualities and manifested infinite qualities of the creator, I cannot get to the end of it, but I conclude comfortably that the creator must be aware of what is going on in the reality of the universe. In the reality of the universe, he must know it, but I can't. But I can know only as much as I can perceive from the creation of the universe, say that the universe is an exhibition for me, and I am seeing it, looking at it, and it is connected to our subject. Again, that I can understand from my own feelings that I have to express my thankfulness, my need of grace, expressing my grace to him, because I have been given this ability. I'm experiencing it really within myself. So I have to, for example, if someone does a favor for me, I have to say thank you because of this need in me. And because of the same need in me, I have to respond back to this creator, or creator of this universe, who is called God in the language. Thank you. I am pleased with what we have created, what we have given to me. This communication must start from my side. Never ever go into the field of God and say, God is that, God is this. But God himself discloses himself, saying in his revelation, we are always confusing these languages. In the revelation, it says, God sees everything. God knows everything. God's power is enough. Yeah, because he is speaking and introducing himself to me. I cannot imitate God. I can only confirm it if I could. I look at the universe, the creator of this universe, look at the language now, be sensitive about it, because otherwise people say, these people just taking for granted belief in God and just speaking without any evidence. But I say, what we should say, the creator of the universe, who is called God, must be able to create everything. That's my belief. That is called belief. But speaking that God is this is not belief. It is information. It is not denial either. But we have to really watch out for our language in order to make sense of it. That's why how I should communicate with my creator, saying that you must be the Lord of everything. You must be the one I can express my worship, sense of worship. You must be the one I always am thankful. I am presenting my grace to the creator of the universe, who is called God. That is everything I can do within this universe must be limited within my capacity. And within my capacity, I understand God is absolute. I understand the creator must have loved me. That's why he created me. Loved the universe. That's why he created me. But that's my understanding. That's my understanding. I say must have loved me to create. I cannot say God loves me. Excuse me, that is just speaking from God's perspective. I am very sensitive about it because I hear people who are not satisfied with any kind of belief in God keep saying that they just speak, God is this, God is that, as if they have seen it, as if they have grasped it. They say God is the absolute one. On the other hand, they say God is this. How do you know the absolute? But we can only know the existence of absolute. We have to learn this. Otherwise, we will be always mocked at by the people who question. That is why we have to prepare ourselves. We have to prepare ourselves to present our belief to the other people who are questioning. I don't bother about those people who believe. They already believe. Why should I bother? In my studies, I always take in mind those people who are skeptical, so that I have to prepare an answer to them. This room is the training room. We are training ourselves how we are going to educate ourselves and how we are going to share our conclusions with others. So long talk, inshallah, our friends will continue.
Thank you. I just want to clarify something before we move on. I think the confusion is coming here that the story starts with the king. So we think that the author is trying to write from the perspective of the king. But after we finish, we will see that no, the author is trying to write from a human's perspective. It's just because it's sort of a story / analogy. It's more like this is why it starts with the king. So it's just a way to tell us, to help us resolve a mystery of the prescribed prayers. So for the author to reveal that to us, instead of telling us, you know what, you have to pray because there's a lot of beautiful things and, you know, you got it and that's it. Or you have to pray because the verse says so, or because you, if you don't pray, then I'm not sure what you're doing in your life. Instead of using the straightforward way of teaching us why should we pray or the wisdom of prayer, the author is kind of taking us on a journey. So to help us see, this is for us to help us see what is happening around us and to see the art and to see the wealth that is around us. And then slowly it will make sense to why does this end in prayer. So I think the analogy here or the story here is used as a teaching tool to help us understand the wisdom of prayer. So let's not confuse that with saying, oh, the author is saying God is, or the author is saying this king is this, and that, and this king is a reflection of God. No, it's just a way of teaching us, of helping us see something that normally we would not see in the context of prayer. So if everybody's comfortable, I'll go ahead and move on to sort of help us see more or understand more these two respects. All right, with this purpose in mind,
there is a comment. There is a comment.
Sorry. Oh, with all due respect, Ali, this whole class and your whole life is based on speculating who God is and who you are in relationship to God. I'm not sure. So for me, if I would respond to this again, what we're trying to do, the whole strategy here we're trying to do in the class is to not speculate, instead to use sort of the data that we have. So the reality that we're living in, the things that we can see and smell and taste and feel, in order to arrive at a conclusion that there must be a creator. And then we can slowly start to, the more and more we start to reflect, we will start seeing qualities of the maker of the thing. The analogy we use in the class often is, okay, if you have a building and if you look at the building, can the building tell you something about the designer or the architect of the building? This is the same strategy we're using. If you have an apple, can the apple tell you something about the designer or the maker of the apple? And I know there's other comments, but I feel, Monica, that these are assumptions. We're not here to like accuse anybody of anything, or, you know, we're trying to go ahead. If you want to speak, go ahead instead of writing.
Yeah, thank you. So this is assumed here that what you guys say is all not coming from the mind of God, but we're simply expressing what we're thinking. So, you know, when I say something, I'm not speaking from the perspective like all-knowing God. I'm speaking from my perspective, and I just don't think I should, each time I say something because I'm thinking. Of course, when I say something that I think, then I'm just thinking that. It's just much simpler. You know, there's no like, I know everything, what God is. I'm thinking, no, well, I know something about God. What I know about God is one. This is the basic assumption for all the monotheistic religions. God is one. This is what I know, what you know, what everyone knows who makes that. This is our assumption. This is where we're coming from. This is like the root of everything here. So this is what we know about God. God is real, eternal, and one. And from that root, we are just speculating. This is all speculation. And when we speculate, whatever we, after our speculation, agree as true for ourselves or as a group, that we kind of progress, you know, like what's the next step? But it is all just an exercise in like the truth, like trying to reach the truth. So, you know, I don't speak like I know everything, although I sound like that, but it's really like really everything we're saying is just like trying to pierce through that veil of arrogance and like a return to God. I mean, I think this is all our objective.
Thank you. And I hope you're not taking the comments being said here personal. It's we're trying to help each other think and, you know, redesign our understanding. So the class is, okay, so I've been in this class for a while, so I'm going to be speaking from my understanding. My understanding here is that if you want to arrive at the conclusion that God must be eternal, just know exactly what methodology and what research tools you used in order to arrive at that conclusion. Opposed to the traditional way of saying, okay, God is eternal, let's try to see his eternity. No, it's actually the other way around. Don't you sort of enjoy the apple? Don't you feel like you want more apples? Don't you ever think about how the apple is so perfectly made? Well, then, from what you can see, from what you can experience, if you can notice the methodology and tools here, then you can arrive at a conclusion that the creator of the apple must be eternal. We are pretty picky in this class about the words we use and the sequence and where do we start off from? Are we starting from my perspective or from God's perspective? Because I think this is coming from a place of, we took, so many things for granted, and now we're trying to sort of refresh and revive and rebuild this understanding of, or not even understanding, our perception and experience of believing in an eternal, absolute loving being. So this is why kind of here we're kind of training each other and helping each other out to arrive at a place where within us, within our body, within our mind, within our hearts, we actually feel comfortable with the words La ilaha illallah. We feel connected to them. We feel like it has a certain taste, it has a certain feeling, it has a certain joy. Because we put ourselves through the journey of finding La ilaha illallah, instead of saying, oh, we're going to start with the premise that there is no God but God, and then build more conclusions on top of that. Instead, we're trying to find it within us. What does every person, have in relation to that? All right. I've spoken too much this time. Brother Ali, go ahead.
I think every human being understands that any kind of belief has an object by definition. But if someone concludes from his or her observation of the creation, and uses whatever he has been given, such as intellect, feelings, emotions, etc., uses it, everyone, and if he comes to a conclusion, reaches a conclusion that the universe is coming from an empty universe. I have heard this great philosophers of our time, or coming into existence out of another black hole. That is their explanations. And that is their belief. Have they seen black hole? No. Have they seen empty universe? Because this universe is full of energy. These are just theories. They say, well, that is my understanding. I respect that. I cannot agree with that, but I respect that. Now, if someone says, no, they are just, what do you mean by empty universe or black hole giving another energy, it is swallowing everything. And also they say that we haven't seen black hole, we have no knowledge of black hole, and these great philosophers of our time, they say, we even don't know when everything falls into black hole. These are the mathematical equations. But they work. I'm not saying they don't, they work. But these mathematical equations cannot come to the conclusion that, yes, it must be. So they say, there must be something like this, but we don't know what the nature of black hole is. I would say, well, okay, if it is within the universe, that is good for you. But if you say that we are observing some qualities in the universe, the way it comes into existence is not of the nature of the universe, then I call it the creator of the universe. But they don't say that black hole is the creator of the universe. They don't say this, the first atom exploded in the universe, or as the beginning of the universe is the creator of the universe. They cannot, because they cannot really see any sign of the quality of creatorship, means giving existence to something did not exist before. Now, even the empty universe theory says the same thing. We don't know what it is exactly, but there must be such a thing because our equation shows it. By the way, the latest equation they came up still didn't really prove to be correct because they say it becomes not really equal in terms, but still one. But this is mathematics, so forget about it. I conclude, and I believe everybody concludes in this world, in this class or whatever group, there must be a creator which is not of the nature of the universe. That is a critical language, which is not the nature of this universe, which means not dependent, not created, not limited, therefore not limited. That is my belief. And I look at the revelation. Revelation says belief is possible in ghaib. We have to understand this. In ghaib means the absolute one, impossible to perceive within the universe. My conclusion is there cannot be anything within the universe which can have the quality to create. If someone comes up, says that here it is, it has a power to create, I wouldn't believe in God. I'm so free, man. I wouldn't believe in God. Why? There's a creator here. Brings the things into existence without, which brings the things into existence that did not exist before. There is no such thing, and none of the people can claim that there is such a thing within the universe. So I believe in ghaib. I think we have to understand this. Ghaib means not definable, not unknown, or what is that? Unseen. These are simple language, Awami language. In order to explain it in a simple way, ghaib, exactly, ghaib means something that which cannot be describable within the conditions of the whole entire universe. Belief in ghaib is a conclusion that I came up from my observation of the universe using my own capacity. That is why we have to understand that belief in ghaib can never, ever allow me, because it is by nature, belief in ghaib means belief in absolute. There's no absolute in the universe. So that's why we call it absolute. If you find a better way, I will be happy to hear. So there's no absolute. So I say, yes, there must be a creator. Belief is there must be, not there is. Belief is there must be, because it is in ghaib. I cannot speculate about ghaib. I cannot speculate and say something. I'm not saying that our friends are saying we have to speculate, not at all. I don't get any clue of it. But what I respectfully understand that we can use this language. I say no. I say, even while I am, we have to be careful. And I think you all agree this. You all agree this. When I say, I worship you alone, it is my conclusion that there must be an absolute being. That's why I'm saying I am worshiping you, oh, the absolute being, oh, the Rabbul Alameen. You understand that? The owner of the universe. Do I really know it? No. Belief is not knowledge. That is our really motto in this class. That is our slogan in this class. Belief is not knowledge. Belief is your conclusion. That is, belief is personal, because this is my conclusion. No one knows me. Then other than my creator must know me, because he is the creator of everything within my capacity. This is an important subject. I know we haven't studied any rest of the section. Time is already up, but I will respect that we have to talk about this subject. Maybe 10 classes following. This is not a waste, because what I have seen in the history of Muslim thinking, otherwise the others don't take them seriously. I have studied them and I'm fed up with them. Muslim philosophers or thinkers, ulama, scholars, not necessarily philosophers, scholars, used a simple language as we are seeing here, giving an example in order to make it easy for the people to understand. And as far as the general trend among the scholarship to keep the believers preserved within the believers' community, they say, yes, we believe, don't be. Yes, you believe in God, don't you? That is your belief. But unfortunately, not many people. There are some, I respect some Sufi mufassir, commentators on the Quran from Sufi perspective. It means, let's try to understand the Quran, what it really means, rather than get lost in grammatic structure of the language. So they come up with such an interesting views, and I understood from them, as well as classical scholarship, traditional classical scholarship, that we must make the distinction between knowing God and believing in God. This is the way to make the knowing God is God is such and such. Believing in God is God must be, you must be the absolute one. So that is the main thing that I can only summarize it this much. As we say, La ilaha illallah, that the moderator friend repeated this, we have to say La ilaha before saying Illahu. Illahu is conclusion, like this. There is no creator within the universe. Illa, therefore, only one who created it, who is called God. But without saying La ilaha, we cannot say Illahu or Illallah. That is our nature, because we are created beings. We cannot speak at the same level as God is. We have to train ourselves. This room is the training room. That's why I really respect those people who can stay in this room until the end of the class, because we are accustomed with speaking taken for granted languages, taken from the sources of the ayat, the Quran, and the hadith, and repeating what these sentences say. I say, yes, we can repeat, but at the same time, belief is to confirm them. I mean, you can repeat even without believing in it, but to confirm is my duty. I think I spoke as usual again, too long, but this is the essential part of our discussions. We may not read anything, but discuss this point. I will be very pleased. Thank you very much. Before next week, we are having a break, and the moderator also agreed on it, and I won't be available. I will be away from internet, and the same is due to the moderator. So the following week, inshallah, we will meet. It's the 1st of 2020, day of 2020. So inshallah, next Saturday, we are having a break. Following Saturday, inshallah, we will be back. and continuing, inshallah. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I love discussing this fundamental matter. I suffered a lot until now, until my age now, struggling with the language. I wanted to avoid from repeating myself, but confirming my belief in ghaib, absolute. So that is what the only solution I could get to with the help of great scholars. But unfortunately, they are not popularly known. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. We can go ahead and close with a dua, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. What's happening here? Okay. Thank you very much. Inshallah, I will see you the following week. Okay.
Thank you.